What's up, everybody? I'm Matt Craig. I'm a reporter at Forbes, and my guest needs no introduction, especially for those of you that are under 30, but I'm gonna give him an introduction anyways. Metro Boomin is multi-platinum and Grammy-nominated recording artist and producer behind mega hits like Drake's Jumpman, Mask Off from Future, Post Malone's Congratulations, and many more. He's worked with all the artists that you can think of to work with. And Metro, first of all, thank you for joining us here.
Man, thanks for having me, and thank you guys for being in attendance.
I know you turned 31 a couple of days ago, which makes you one of the older folks in this crowd.
Older than everybody in the crowd.
Yeah. And I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but being young Metro, being the kid out to prove yourself has been kind of a core part of your identity. And I was thinking through, I think a lot of these folks are probably in the same boat where they have, accomplished a lot in their 20s, and now they're reaching a new stage where there's more pressure, more expectation. For you, being 31, being an established star now where a lot of people think you have all the answers, how is that a different perspective for you?
Like I was telling you yesterday when we were talking, I've always been used to being the youngest in the room, the youngest around, and one of the youngest ones in the business. But being 31 and with the game getting younger and being on the older side now, I am grateful for how I spent my 20s. Everybody says your 20s is about figuring it out, which I agree, but a lot can happen in 10 years, let me just say that. So from 20 to 30, just putting in the work, putting in the grind of depositing in more towards your future versus partying most of the time, stuff like that. Like, we all get the same 24 hours. So not saying you can't have a little fun here and there, but just really being focused and doing the work now so you can just enjoy life later.
One of the things I've heard you say that I thought was really interesting was that rappers are like reporters. You were talking about Tupac and saying what's like in the street. I think it's interesting because the opposite is definitely not true. Reporters are not like rappers in any way. But one thing I was thinking about is how that perspective might have changed for you. You've collaborated with a lot of the same artists since you guys were all young kids, growing up, having nothing. Now you guys are at the top of the game, millionaires. How has that perspective changed?
Oh man, it's inspiring. Even though I'm involved in the story, like it's just inspiring because just looking at it where we were then and as young adults grinding and hungry and just seeing where we are now, it's just so much more inspiring for, okay, when I'm 41, what would that look like if I applied at least the same work ethic, but really I plan on more, but even if I apply the same level of work ethic, what does 41 look like for me? So it's an inspiration to just keep going and reassuring to let you know you're on the right path.
Let's talk about your 2024. 2 #1 chart-topping Billboard albums with Future, and that's kind of been your MO. You're known for collaborating with a lot of artists, like I mentioned, Future and Drake, Travis Scott, 21 Savage, The Weeknd, right? Pretty much everyone. Speak to, I guess, the value of finding collaborators, developing them, and then keep coming back to the same group of collaborators.
Man, I love collaboration. That's one of my favorite parts of making music. Just getting in the room with like-minded individuals and just knowing you all have the same goal, same common goal of, coming out of the room with something great. So, and a lot of people ask why a lot of the times most of my work are with the same, group of artists, kind of. And I feel like for a great collaboration, I feel like it takes great people. Like, I have to like you as a person. Like I told you yesterday, I want to be a fan of your music. So from a producer standpoint, I know what I want to hear from you as a fan. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I have that advantage because I'm kind of like, I'm like their other fans. So it's like, I know what we want type of thing. But just on the human end, I just feel like just being great people and having that good synergy and chemistry in the room just makes everyone comfortable where, all the best ideas can come to light.
And you said yesterday, those people have made you better as a producer.
1,000,000%. Like I said yesterday, I feel like steel sharpens steel. So I work with other great producers, musicians, songwriters, artists, vocalists, everything. And when I'm in the room with like-minded people, like I said, and you see how hard they're going, and it just pushes me to come with my A game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not like the weak link or slacking, and it goes back and forth. Like I made the analogy yesterday with the basketball game, like an all-star game. And if like Steph Curry and Dame on the same team, and it's like, okay, you shoot from here, now I'm gonna shoot from the logo, now I'm gonna let one go from half court. And it's like, we make each other better in that way.
Let's talk about your creative process. I saw a video that you put on YouTube just a few weeks ago, and it was you in a Tesla Cybertruck making a beat just on like the rudimentary tools on the console. And I was thinking, this must be, a watered down version of what it's like to be in the studio with you, because you were locked in, you were tinkering with it. You would have thought that you were focused, like it was some hot track, and
Yeah.
no one's ever going to hear that. And I think like Don Toliver was there, maybe freestyling or something. But it seems like you really like that experimentation and that kind of like tinkering with a track to make it good.
Yeah, man, like they call me the tinkerer. No, nobody actually calls me that. But no, it's just fun, man. Like, I love locking in on things, and like I call it massaging it. Like when I'm massaging a beat or massaging a song or an album, it's just like you just keep playing. It's kind of like a Rubik's Cube, and you just keep until it just starts to kind of come together. You know what I'm saying? You might flip it all the way around upside down into something totally different, but it's just about, just keep messing with it until you feel it's right.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't work in music, I feel like there's a lesson there about, continuing to hone in on what the final product can be, or the, I guess, the expression of what you're trying to put out in the world.
Exactly. You can't give up on it because I always feel like there was a good idea in there in the first place that got you going or made you want to. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to really see it out. And it's just about patience. Like, me as a person, something I do feel like I'm blessed with is I have great like patience and long-term patience. So it's like I was never in a rush to get on in my career, and it's the same way when I'm like working on a song, a track, or an album. It's like, I'm gonna just keep working this thing until, you know what I'm saying, it comes to light.
You weren't in a rush with your career, but age 16, 17, you're already in the studio with Gucci Mane and OJ the Juice Man. By 22, you're arguably the most in-demand producer in hip-hop. But I guess my question is, it took many more years after that before we started kind of hearing your name, and you made a decision to kind of be more forward-facing. I'm curious what went into that.
It was really something that I always envisioned from day one, but I never wanted to rush it or force it. It was really just about I don't want to say aside from, but kind of aside from all the artists I work for and support them in their projects, just building my own base of, I don't really like the word fans, own base of, they messed up the word followers too, but
Supporters?
Supporters, there you go. My own base of supporters who like my music, like what I'm doing, and just over time kind of develop this relationship and this trust, so they can trust when they hear my tag, or even if my tag's not on there, they know I'm a part of a song or a project. It's like, okay, we can expect some form of quality or something with some thought or some time into it. So yeah, from day one, I always, even from back in those days, like when you were talking about when I was 18 and 19, and I had my boy Cam Kirk, shout out to Cam, and we had this vision from back then, just like, okay, we're gonna be together every day. I'm in the studio, you're getting everything on video, you're getting pictures. Even if that many people aren't looking at my pictures and stuff, it's just always just having that out there, you know what I'm saying? And as my career and my accolades and the music and everything grew, I never stopped with that end of it too. So they kind of just met in the middle.
I do have to ask you about the tags, because I feel like that's how most people know you first and maybe best. I guess, how much are those like happy accidents versus you thinking very consciously about, hey, this is what I wanted it to look like?
Every last one of them was a happy accident. So, I mean, that's just the blessing of it, man. Usually somebody will say something in the song. It's not like I ask them, like, yo, shout me out or do this. And, I'll be in the control room and just hear it. Couple of them I knew right away, like the Young Metro don't like that right away. As soon as I heard out the speakers, I was like, I need that. But like some of them, it might have just been a little time and the song might already been out, and I just think one day like, oh, that could be a cool drop, or that could be a cool drop. Uh, I just like to mix the drops up, man. I feel like it's cool. It's just like, you know, fresh, like different eras, like every year or two introduce like another one, and you know.
Is that, when people see you out in public, is that what they're yelling at you?
For sure, for sure. And it's funny because it's like through the years, it's like eras, like I said, like I still use them all, but I noticed through the different eras, everybody scream out different ones. Like I remember early on, everywhere I go, somebody be like, "Oh, Metro Boomin want some more?" Like that was the thing, that was the thing. And then around the whole Kanye era, that thing, it was like, if Young Metro don't trust you, everybody was saying that everywhere I go. Now it's like, they keep getting shorter, so now it's just like, Metro, just everywhere, you know? So that's probably my favorite one, really, right now.
Obviously, you're kind of looking for new challenges at this point, and a big one was working on a movie for the first time, Across the Spiderverse. I guess we got some fans.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
What inspired you to do that? And as I asked you yesterday, what's different about working on a movie as opposed to an album?
Man, for a long time, it's always been a goal of mine to put together a soundtrack for a movie. I want to score a movie as well, but a soundtrack. And there have been several opportunities over the years, but I never wanted to force it, especially for it to be my first one. I just always, like I said, that patience and just waiting on just the right opportunity to really get the platform to really show people that, that's something I could tackle. Growing up back in my day, whatever like soundtracks.
Old guy.
Right. I'm gonna tell you guys, since everybody's under 30, soundtracks used to actually be like great albums that you could revisit and play, and so yeah, I grew up with great soundtracks like that, like the Dr. Dolittle soundtrack, Friday soundtrack, Bad Boys, like all these things, like they were crazy albums. So
I think Friday came out before either one of us was alive.
When did Friday come out?
Mid 90s, right?
Yeah, I was born in '93.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So those soundtracks, I just wanted to bring a fresh, cohesive album that felt like an album, and not just like, okay, the studio got all these leftover songs from everybody, which a lot of things feel like today to me. So they called about Spiderverse, and it came right when I was fresh off of Heroes and Villains, like the next month. And I feel like with already being in that whole hero thing, like there couldn't have been better timing. I know God did that. There couldn't have been better timing than that. So, and the difference, to answer your question, the main difference was the deadlines. Usually I do albums, and I know it usually takes me a while. It might take a couple years, 2.5 years, but with Spiderverse, they're like, yo, this is coming out in June. We need the album like a month before that, so just knowing I had a few months to work on it, me and my engineer, Ethan, we were just in the studio relentlessly, and I guess there was more of a centered focus, so that's one of the main takeaways I took from it. It's not like one of my albums I could just push it back and keep working on it, or, oh, it's not ready, or it sounds great, but I could make it better. That's usually like where I'm at with it on my albums. It's like I like it, but like I want to make it better. So Spiderverse, just knowing we had an end date in mind, that taught me that moving forward, I think I want to, at least on my next one, like I want to set a date and just vision it like it's a hard date for me to finish working on my next one and, see the results from that.
One of your biggest songs from this year, Like That, with Kendrick, and we talked about this yesterday, but kind of the role that a producer plays in being a little diplomatic, maybe, whether it's, Future and Young Thug, maybe not liking each other earlier in your career, and now obviously Like That was an entry in the Drake and Kendrick feud this year. Do you think those things are good or bad for the industry? And I guess, like, what's your role kind of as a producer who's worked on both sides?
I feel like the competition is great for the game. It's hip hop has always been more of a competitive genre. Even if just keeping it on music and it's like not serious how everybody tries to make it. You know what I'm saying? It's just about that Because also with hip hop, there's a lot of ego involved, a lot of, so it's really like you're supposed to feel like you're the best. Everybody from the highest to the lowest guy, you're supposed to at least feel like you're the best. So when two of the top dogs in the game and they, you both feel like you're the best, it's like, okay, now we got to have a showdown. We saw it with Jay-Z and Nas before. But I just feel like more today it's more like stan culture. It's like, it makes it kind of weird. Because like back in the day, like Jay-Z and Nas went at it, but like I was a fan of both of them, and most people were. And it was like, okay, it's okay. It's not like, okay, I hate this side, I hate this side. It's like, the internet just makes it a little too wild now. But I feel like, it's good for the game. And as far as me being diplomatic, I mean, it's just entertainment at the end of the day. And, I have love and respect for all my collaborators. And, I just want to see everybody do the best and continue to help push this forward. Because we're all here to, deposit in and uplift this genre and push it forward. This is our era, so it's really our responsibility to keep pushing it forward for the next one and so forth.
Yeah, we're here to talk about going from musician to mogul, and I know that business is going to become a big primary focus for you in this kind of next era, if you want to call it that. But why is entrepreneurship, ownership, why is that important to you?
I mean, I've always been business-minded since young, but besides that, you see how much they pay for a stream? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna make albums and set myself and my family up forever and future generations. It's not even, feasible. So I do music because I love to do music. It's not about any money or anything. But with the opportunities that music brings me, I would be a fool not to take that and let it lead me into other doors, opening up other doors and capitalizing on my time, because it's not forever.
Is that a different perspective that you have now that you didn't have, say, I don't know, 10 years ago?
I feel like I always still had that perspective, but I feel like I was more so focused on still just grinding with the music, grinding. And I'm gonna continue to grind with the music, but just grind it to the music to get to a place like where I am now, where I have a little more influence and a little more people trust me, to where I can start to activate like the next phase of my career, you know what I'm saying? And plant the seeds for all my new future businesses. I mean, even for years, like I've invested in a lot of startups, got real estate, several things. I'm starting a couple of production companies. I want to get into a lot of other things. I kind of want to talk about, but I kind of can't. And it's beautiful. Like I said, all that work I put in my 20s towards music, I want to put my 30s, still do the music, but put the same amount of effort and work into my businesses and, raising my portfolio.
Last question, since you are the old guy in the room, what advice would you have for, these people in their 20s who, maybe aren't working in music, but they're grinding, they have their thing, their passion, if they want to be as successful as you've been?
Yeah, even though it's not music, it pretty much works the same, man, whether it's this, business, sports, man, you just got to stay down, stay patient. I would say the patience. I feel like as long as you're consistently working hard at something, that one day it has to work. You know what I'm saying? Or it's more than just has to work. It's like how could I say this? Look at it like you're not paying yourself, but like if you had a piggy bank or something, it's like you're just depositing in. Even if it's a cent at a time and you do that for 10 years, it's like you could look back and, you'll be able to see something. So I just feel like just stay down, stay consistent. I feel like the consistency is key, because a lot of people do things and they might start or they might get distracted or stop or get discouraged to stop. I feel like just consistently go at it, no matter how you're feeling, and stay focused.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Metro Boomin.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.